What is up, all you beautiful folks? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the Respawn Recap. As per usual, hello, new guy. Ready?
No, I'm not that new anymore, but I'm so ready.
Let's get into it. Hope you guys all enjoy. And this one, the most recent one, I'm sure a lot of you guys are slowly becoming aware of. Riot Games most recent to announce their own personal investigations, but stemming from the Counter-Strike space, a number of pros, this is actually stretching back to 2020, midway through, where apparently investigations were being placed amongst Counter-Strike players who had actually moved to Valorant. Those investigations now clarified by the ESIC Commissioner Ian Smith to now also have the FBI involved, which is, I mean, you think gaming news can get any crazier, and then this stuff happens.
I know, it feels like, I think people are slowly learning and are going to start learning that this is real life too, because like the longer the gaming world, expands and keeps growing, the more serious this stuff gets. Like getting the FBI involved in this stuff, like who would have thought that potentially they could be going to prison by the FBI for, a scandal in a video game.
Yeah, and I know there's not a video out yet, but we all did a react to this ongoing investigation. The first part, finally set to be probably the next 2 weeks, is what Ian Smith calls dealing with idiots, is the easier part of the investigation. The latter half could take much longer now with the FBI being involved, but there have been several pro players named a part of Valorant rosters, some of whom actually might still be in Counter-Strike, but obviously why Riot Games is now also being involved. To your point, man, it's crazy. The individual circumstances are going to be crazy because I imagine as more and more comes out, teams will respond about this, maybe why they signed some of these players, and players will come out with their own stories, and we'll see if anyone is serving criminal time and others. There's going to be a variety of punishments, so stay tuned. These next few weeks, shockingly, are going to continue to be very, very crazy. And one of the most brutal beatdowns I've seen in a long time. It's great for Call of Duty because there's always just drama and trash talk and banter. And it's like, unlike a game in League of Legends where you rarely, if even ever, see a BM, whether it be a teabag or whether it be shooting bodies, Call of Duty, I guess Gears of War and Call of Duty, especially this season, has been known for it. If you guys missed it, Atlanta FaZe 3-0'd the LA Thieves. And one of those maps was actually a complete beatdown where I actually have never seen a team finish a game out like this, so far ahead on kills. They actually start going for BMs, a BZ, if you guys missed it as well, Simp just shooting bodies, and ending the game with a finishing move, which is a rarity in Call of Duty. It was, especially with big names like FaZe and Thieves, it was fun to watch.
I'll say I'm glad that you mentioned Gears of War because people will come after us if we don't. When we're talking about trash talking, people are like, oh, Gears of War was the worst one ever. Like, you don't know. But yes, in Call of Duty, I feel like it's, with the players that we have, it's kind of the best mix of like almost a relationship that they can trash talk still and get away with it and not be too intense and too serious. And so I feel like it's almost enjoyable to see a little bit of BMing and like messing around because it just kind of like fuels the fire a little bit. And like, I mean, I'm sure Thieves has got to be not happy.
Exactly. To your point, now we have a matchup. Like in other esports, Valorant does a good job as well, kind of building that little rivalry. So if you meet up again, you're just hoping like FaZe versus Thieves or FaZe versus Sentinels in Valorant, or previously TSM versus Sentinels in Valorant. I think FaZe, as the Call of Duty team who is kind of disliked right now because they're just that good, is doing a great job of building that rivalry and almost just ticking people off so much. That same series, they had one of their members, Celium, crash twice, and they restarted twice, and they still beat the Thieves. So got to be very unnerving. But again, if they ever match up again and LA Thieves pull off an upset, you can imagine the trash talk will be fired back, and that's why it's so fun to cover Call of Duty. It was not a fun time for LA Thieves this past week, though. And Nutty Nut Nuts, yes, that's a weird way to start off a segment about cheat providers. The world's biggest one being busted by Chinese local officials, or police, I should say, alongside Tencent, the kings you just don't mess with over there in China, as another real-life punishment being handed out. 10 people as of right now facing arrest, 17 cheats shut down, and yes, this empire of cheat provider that is over there in China, mostly mobile games, other games as well mentioned, $76 million in revenue is now the rumored figure, brought to us by BBC and countless others. $76 million made off selling cheats.
Crazy, absolutely crazy. And I feel like Tencent had to be the company to do it too. Like, I don't think anyone else could have gotten away with launching a full-out police investigation of a cheat provider for their games, but Tencent would, especially mobile games, I should say. Like, I don't think anyone else would get away with being able to do that. But like you said, I mean, they control everything. It feels like they got the police on their side and they're going after anyone who's against them.
Yeah, because we've seen a variety of this in the past. I would say in personal experience, Valve surprisingly hasn't been in the news lately, at least that I know of, for doing this. Epic Games has gone after cheat providers. We have Activision, who has gone after cheat providers. Riot Games, I imagine they probably would if it became more of an issue. Right. And I guess we can semi-tie them to Tencent, of course, as well. To your point, Tencent is certainly not only the people that you don't want to mess with, but also if you're going to affect their bottom line and impact their games, they are going to come for you. They have ties seemingly everywhere in the gaming space over in China and probably beyond. And unfortunately for 10 people out there, those culprits will now be arrested. Who knows what they'll be charged with, but they had $46 million in assets from selling cheats.
Where did those cars go? Do we know? Like they had
Tencent.
All these supercars. Oh, Tencent now took the cars. The guys were like, oh, we like those cars. Let's go after them.
They'll be auctioning them off, making them in-game skins. Yeah. We'll see what happens. But Tencent local Chinese police have shut down one of the world's biggest ever cheat providers. An official debatable announcement out there this past week brought to us from the Warzone space. Yet again, SBMM and Call of Duty has been a common thing. It was actually throughout 2020 and early this year a viral trend out there. Still in Call of Duty, but no longer is. The website SBMMWarzone.com has now officially been shut down after Activision lawyers pursued the site and said to comply and shut her down.
So all this big money is starting to scare me. You know, all these, like we were just talking about Tencent and now talking about Activision and their lawyers. And like respect for them for, you know, defending what they want to defend and going after people, but it's still scary. Like once they decide to like actually get involved and actually get their lawyers or get the police or get the FBI involved, you know, things just get so intense so quick.
Oh, and you got to imagine, as the guys who have now posted the video, they run the website, you imagine if you're, you know, around any age out there and all of a sudden you have an Activision lawyer in your DMs or whatever, of course you're going to comply. You can't really fight that off the bat. They are still trying to work a partnership out. But yeah, again, like you said, API is owned by Activision, of course, especially once the website had some monetary gain off of that, which is not theirs. According to them, that is not the reason why they are shut down, to which it makes you wonder, will they ever partner up with Activision? Activision doesn't need them, right? It was a great website for combating, you know, those easier lobbies, reverse boosting, VPNs. It had great information, but that's Activision's property. So you gotta, if it's not monetary and they still made you comply and shut it down, it's not going to be like a Jagex, you know, with RuneLite. Right. Jagex had that third-party software. Activision Blizzard has done this before with Overwatch third parties as well. They just don't need it. They don't often partner or work with them because they're doing just fine on their own, which is kind of just a sad truth. Yeah. Very lastly, Vikkstar has responded saying he'll pass all this on to Activision, so we'll see what happens next. And very lastly, it was Tfue just this past weekend saying some harsh truth for a lot of Fortnite streamers. The game has been in a weird state just about every new season that launches. So many streamers and pros out there have a wide variety of complaints and reasons for those complaints, to which Tfue seemingly randomly took to stream to say, and points out how Ninja, now playing League of Legends or Valorant, Nick Merckx playing Call of Duty, Tfue playing Minecraft, you go Cloak Thief, Symphony, Tim the Tatman, all those guys are gone, to what he later calls all the personalities have left the game of Fortnite, and anyone with any skill or mechanics outside the game of Fortnite is no longer there.
Interesting, though, because, of course, we've seen old Nicky Merckx, you know, return to Fortnite with his anime profile pictures and going beast mode or whatever, demon time. I don't remember what he called
Demon
it.
Merckx.
Right. So we've seen people return to the game and, like, come back for content. Obviously, Cypher comes back for content every update. And they'll come back every once in a while, but they don't stay. And so I wonder, I mean, obviously, we know the game of Fortnite, if it's not a very sustainable scene for people as creators, and we've seen Ninja go on a rant last month about how he just doesn't want to play anymore. And so I wonder if that's just slowly affecting more and more people.
Yeah, Stream Sniper's also kind of the current issue, not to mention wagers and subscrims have been shut down. It's a weird time. I think at the very, very root of his argument, the older generation of personalities have certainly pretty much...
Almost pro players now are the personalities,
It's the younger generation is still there. I will combat that by saying, and I'm sure Tfue knows this, he didn't mean it for everybody, but you got people like Ronaldo who are very entertaining even outside Fortnite. Emad, I think Benji Fishy, I think Clicks will. There's a lot of Fortnite streamers currently who kind of focus on that because that's where the viewers and money are. But to his point, we'll see if it's going to be this year or sometime in the future, which of those pros can actually prove they have mechanics and a personality outside of Fortnite, and who can actually surpass and live beyond that game. As per usual, we hope you guys all enjoyed this episode of the Respawn Recap. Anything you want to say to the viewers?
Drink your Rogue Energy.
Hey! Thank you all so much. Yeah, thank you guys for bringing this with us. Rogue Energy. Also, drink your water and your coffee, and we'll catch you back here in the next one.